says so.
Now y'all feel better?
That I am now going to turn it over to John DeCecco.
Thank you, Nadine. So I want to say bienvenidos, bienvenue, welcome, and welcome to Tranquilo, a community in which to nourish mind, body, and spirit. We are a welcoming international community that gathers to explore, to learn, and to enhance our life's journey together. All are welcome here. The non-religious and religious of many spiritual paths, the full continuum of sexual preference and identity, all varieties of national and ethnic origin, and a broad spectrum of political persuasions. We do, however, conduct our gatherings only in English. So that is one limitation we are always trying to address. And if you'll indulge me my variance at that statement, à mes amis au Maroc et à mon ami Mahmoud en Suède, nous souhaitons que votre observance du Ramadan vous apporte joie et tranquillité. So a shout out to my friends in Morocco, very hard hit by the pandemic, and I mean very hard hit. And to my friend Mahmoud in Sweden, we hope that your observances of Ramadan bring you joy and tranquility. Ramadan begins on Tuesday. 5 years ago, I had the good fortune to yield my time to Tina at Not Church, a surprise move that must have really annoyed my good friend John Stadelman and no doubt made some trouble for those who carefully put the order of the day together. But it was a move that perfectly complemented John's story and contributed so much to all of our understandings of ourselves and of others. So it's really meaningful to me today that I get to welcome all of you here today. And there's a special warmth in my heart to also welcome back Tina, who we all get to hear from later in this gathering. Welcome to Not Church.
Am I next?
Well, no, I think, am I next? Do I just go?
Am I next?
Am I next? All right. I think I'm next on this sheet, so I'll do this. Okay, everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I just want to preface this by saying that I was in the original group of ladies with Kath and Mary Beth and Anna, and we used to meet once a week, and we followed Tina's book, and she was our mentor. And we would not discuss things, but we were able to put on the table things that we were coping with, and nobody told you were right or wrong or what to do, but it really helped talking about this stuff and hearing yourself. And, you know, it raised our awareness of who we were and how we were coping with things. So Anna called me or emailed me and asked me to, you know, if I wanted to read something. I said, you know, I can't find anything I want to read. So Tina sent something and asked how this would be. And as usual, I mean, she's like right there. And I read it, and then I read it to John, and we both were like, oh my God. So we have a very close person in our family who's going through a very difficult period. And although, you know, she's getting help, she keeps hoping there's like this magic pill that the doctor can give her, and everything's going to be great, and life will just go on. And it just doesn't work that way. So I sent her a copy of this, and she loved it. She said she's going to read it like 100 times. So this is from Tina's book, excerpt from the book of Little Lies. And the little lies are the untruths that we think about ourselves that have been just part of us. We don't even know where they came from, and they hinder us in our daily life and weigh us down. So this is the excerpt. A dear friend and I have a joke between us. We say we wish that we could make the bed and clean the house just once and never have to do it again. It's a lovely thought, but living life requires cleaning. Otherwise, the mess will bury us. Life requires sorting things out, cleaning things up, moving things around over and over. There's no overnight success when it comes to navigating life. There's no pill that transforms life's sticky mess. If we aim to craft a fulfilling life, there's no getting around putting in a self, capital S, centered effort. No matter how silver the spoon you may have been born with, or how loving the family you were born into, or how beautiful your body is, lies come crashing in. We experience all the hurts, dramas, traumas, upsets, disappointments, and fears that come with life. It's part of being human. Successfully navigating this stuff takes work. It takes developing a thriving inner self that can stand up to the lies. That self lives within everyone. The job of those of us who want it is to go after this idea, pursue it with passion, be determined to uncover something truly beautiful from it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina.
Am I next? I don't have the list. Am I next? Yes,
Mary Beth.
thank you. Well, I also want to offer a special welcome publicly to Tina. As Sandy said, I was also a participant in the first circle group here in Baja and learned valuable inner fitness tools and connection with one another. I really love the concept of inner fitness, and I'm really touched and delighted to have landed in a community which offers so many opportunities for heart awareness, growth, and connection with our inner knowing, culminating in our very special Tranquilo Baja. Tina, it's really a pleasure to welcome you here today, to lay eyes on you and your beautiful self. And I look forward to hearing from you. Now our meditation. Please sit comfortably with your back straight, your chin slightly tilted upward. Close or lower your eyes. Place both feet on the floor or ground. Rest your hands lightly on your thighs or knees. Take 2 or 3 long, deep, centering belly breaths. Expand your belly on the inhale. Pull it slightly in on the exhale. Tune in to the rising and falling sensation in your body. We know that slowing down the breath calms the nervous system. Now deepen your breathing, inhaling for a count of 6 and exhaling for a count of 6. If random thoughts pop into your head, imagine each one as a floating cloud, drifting, drifting away. As your breathing falls into a deep, easy rhythm, think of a spring flower you especially like. A daffodil, a tulip, an iris, a lily, whatever flower you want to focus on. Think of the roots of that flower pushing firmly into the ground, and the face of the flower tilting up towards the warmth and energy of the sun. As you continue to breathe deeply, imagine energy moving through your flower, coming in through the sun and out towards the roots, and coming in through the roots and out towards the sun. Continue this deep belly breathing for 2 minutes. I will watch the time. You may open your eyes.
I guess I'm next. Many of us first met Tina, as you've heard, years ago as our speaker at Not Church. Afterwards, she led us in a workshop where she continued to prove to be a dynamic inspiration and a total mensch. We were so impressed that some of us formed a women's support group using Tina's little book of Big Lies as our guide to learning and self-growth. In Tina's book, she shares her insightful journey that led her to her success as a TV and film star, a published writer, a worldwide facilitator and trainer, and the founder of the Inner Fitness Project. I am so excited and happy to welcome my friend and today's speaker, Tina Lifford.
Thank you all so much. You know, it's really lovely to experience, well, what was Not Church and is now Tranquillo in this form. I can't tell you how often I think about those times and Anna and Doug's beautiful home and the quiet of that Baja region. And so it's really nice that we have been able to find a way for me to get back down there, even if it's virtually. So I'm happy to be here. You know, when I was here the last time, between then and now, a lot has changed. A lot has changed in the world. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot has changed in my life. And at the root of it, as I experience myself and navigate this whole thing, inner fitness is the foundation upon which I walk. And I'm really humbled by my ability to say that, because, you know, when you step into the desire to live your life well, usually, at least in my case, there were a number of things in my life that I wanted to have a better understanding of. And it was the desire to not just have a better understanding, but to have a freer me, you know, to be connected to a freer me that drove my interest in looking at myself and searching for answers. I am incredibly humbled by the journey that has taken place between when we met and now, particularly where the little book of Big Lies is concerned, because the ladies who we did a workshop with and then, you know, introduced 14 practices to, and then had them actually work with those practices for quite a long time, that came from a book that was self-published. And then through the very intentional way that I had started to live my life, we went from that book. I've wound up in this series that I'm in right this moment, and I've had a successful acting career for decades. But this particular series came from a very intentional ask in my journal. And the ask looked like this: how can I be part of a series that goes for at least 5 years, that is critically acclaimed, adds value to the viewers, that is an ensemble cast where everyone shines, and yet in some way I rise to the top and make an undeniable impact and bring undeniable value to the project. That was my desire. And that's exactly what I'm living right this moment. And and I wanted that because, you know, I'm an actress and that's just part of my long-term dream. But I also wanted it for inner fitness because with an elevated profile, with an elevated celebrity, I would be able to speak to inner fitness in more and more meaningful ways. And I opened my mailbox one day and HarperCollins was in it. They had gotten hold of a copy of the self-published book and wanted to publish it mainstream. I wound up with a 2-book deal, so there's a second book coming. But what is really important is that the message of inner fitness and the tools and practices in the Little Book of Big Lies have indeed gone way beyond what I could have done without the support of Queen Sugar or the television series and my profile. So I am here standing on top of, at this point, probably 30 or 40 years of testing what it means to live from the internal self. And when it comes to self, SELF, I have an interest in it and a passion about it that really has informed everything. I remember going to my very clunky computer years ago and typing into a concordance the word SELF, and nothing came back. I have no idea which Bible I tapped into. I just remembered going and randomly picking, and when I typed in SELF, nothing came back. And in that moment, I said, this is a problem because we are so taught to disconnect from SELF. And in the disconnection from SELF, we are also disconnecting from so much of the personal power that we are given and are in charge of in the ultimate journey of life, which is, in my opinion, it is to grow. It is to make ourselves an opening through which the intelligence of life can actually use us more thoroughly and completely in its journey of evolution. And in exchange for that, we get this playground of life where you get to be tranquilo and have a community or whatever other desires you have. That becomes our playground. But our purpose is to intentionally want to be a space that is free enough inside and ever expanding inside to actually be a place where life can move through us. It can ask things of us, and we can consciously and with excitement say yes to being that place. And so in the Little Book of Big Lies, I shared some of my passion about SELF. And I would love to just take a few minutes and share with you the dream that I had that totally transformed my life and transformed how I see myself and how I manage at a very microscopic level inside of myself on a daily basis. Would it be okay for me to share that with you? Would you be interested in that? Fantastic, fantastic.
Yes, please.
So rather than tell you, I have gone to the point of actually wanting to have you experience my dream with me. So here we go. I was in one of those times in life where I was looking for something. There was some internal struggle going on, and I had a dream. In this dream, I was walking up this overcast beach, and up ahead I saw two women. It looked like they were arguing. But the closer I got to them, I realized that only one of the two was arguing. The woman with her back to the ocean, she is flailing her arms. But the woman she's talking to, who's facing her and facing the ocean, has this amazing sort of stillness to her in a way that was so compelling. The argumentative woman was trying to literally steal my attention, but I was drawn magnetically to the compelling woman. And then the compelling woman does something extraordinary. She moves towards the argumentative woman and she wraps her arms around her in a way that was so loving that I felt it. And after a beat, they parted and turned and looked at me. And I see that they are both me. In that moment, the clouds part and the sun comes beaming through. And it blinds me for a moment. And when I could see again, both ladies were gone. I woke from that dream with an understanding of self that has continued to expand and build and strengthen my life. Because I saw that the dream was telling me that those three selves live inside of me, live inside of all of us. And that we are moving in and out of those selves every day, all day. I named those three selves: the surviving self, the thriving self, and the infinite self. The surviving self is that part of us that's always got its dukes up, ready for a fight, in fear of its life, thinking something's wrong, thinking that something is against it. The thriving self is that part of us that is always moving forward, using all the circumstances before it to grow and expand. Seeing life as a sense of what's possible, not what's been taken. The thriving self leads with hope and empathy and a sense of being and belonging that makes life better. The infinite self is that part of us that still waters run deep. That part of us that is connected to time before time. It's what the mystics call that part of us that is birthless and deathless. It was before time and it will be after. That part has a wisdom and a knowing and a connection to all of life that actually has the power to make us and keep us safe. I realized that my journey from this point forward could be to decide to
manage the surviving self by becoming more connected to, aware of, and in deliberate relationship with the thriving self and the infinite self. And that's the journey of a lifetime.
Thanks, thanks, thanks. Yeah, so I've been able to share the concept of the three selves now, and it is impacting people's lives in a gratifying way. And for me, the three selves just act as a frame, a way in which we can, on a regular daily basis, sort of look at ourselves, our behavior, our thinking, and ask the simple question: am I moving in this moment? Which self in this moment am I leading with? The surviving self, the thriving self, or the infinite self? Fear, curiosity, and acceptance. And when it comes to understanding the nature of mind, having a frame, um, for me, the frame of the three selves has really been extraordinary, because I so understand that the surviving self is absolutely a necessary part of our being. And there is no part of me that is thinking about or wanting to get rid of the surviving self. But every part of me understands the deepening importance of understanding the surviving self, understanding its role in us, helping us to navigate, and understanding how its tendencies through the brain get automated. And so when we understand that, you know, as we are here in this experience right this moment and living our lives in the world today, we are an iteration of a nervous system that started 500 million years ago in building itself, that began to pick up cues and an understanding and reactions that have become so encoded in us that we don't even know or see the infinite automatic reactions that are always taking place in service to the safety that this nervous system has downloaded and encoded so that we can keep ourselves safe. And in that way, I am incredibly indebted to, we are incredibly indebted to the vigilance of the surviving self that is always looking for what's wrong. And at this point, we also know that the brain continues to change. The brain is a never-changing, incredible instrument. I believe that the reason we only use a small part of the brain right this moment is because the brain is in the process right this moment of wiring itself. We human beings are the only animal that wires itself for survival outside of the body. And the brain is continuing to wire itself. And the newest part of the brain, the frontal cortex is the part of the brain, as I'm sure you all know, because this information is more and more readily available daily. It is the part of the brain that really gives us the ability to step in front of the reactionary tendencies and characteristics of the surviving self, and actually bring balance to that reactionary nature, and then begin to choose more deliberately, choose from a place of calm, the kind of calm that, that centering exercise took us into. When we can actually access the part of us, I call it the thriving self, the part of us that is centered in the frontal cortex, that is centered in our executive selves, our executive thinking selves, then we have within us the ability to begin to work with the automated behavior, the automated habits of the surviving mind, and literally change the brain almost immediately. The reason that changing the brain doesn't seem to be as immediate as it actually is because it takes a while for the brain to begin to take the new information and automate it. And so our job is to actually, on a regular basis, buy into new behaviors, buy into new ways of seeing, buy into new ideas about ourselves, and practice them long enough for them to become automated behavior, automated thoughts, automated reactions. And what I find incredibly exciting about this time that we are in, and this time is so represented by the work that you all are doing in your community. Without question, we will look back on these times and know that this is a time of awakening. From neuroscience to, to Tibetan monks, to our own personal experiences, we are realizing that there is so much more power and possibility inside of us. And what I encourage us all to pay attention to, and we all know this, we just have to constantly remember it, that the thriving self is our place of hope and possibility. We can access this part of ourselves that can help us manage anything that has been challenging, or anything that moves into our life as a challenge. But to do that, we must pay attention to being curious about how we are feeling, what we are thinking, and the choices that we are making. We must be present enough and trusting enough of this system of self that is always communicating to us, and make sure that we are loving ourselves enough to listen to what it's trying to say. All we have to do to fulfill that is to be aware of that needs to be acknowledged, that is disturbing our peace, that has us in a reactionary fear mode, even if no one around us knows it. As we begin to lean in to the idea that the self inside of us has a knowing and a natural balance, as a balance that wants to help us get into balance with ourselves and stay in balance with ourselves. And the way it does that is to put us in different levels of dis-ease, discomfort, so that it will draw our conscious attention to that area of our lives. We cannot change what we suppress and ignore. And what we suppress and ignore, science is absolutely finding that there's no such thing as getting away from ourselves. What we suppress and ignore becomes it becomes embodied. And the wonderful book, The Body Keeps a Score, or Keeps the Score, really talks to that. So the way in which we can all make sure that we are living the kind of life that we will be fully alive when we die, because that's my intention. My intention is to be fully alive until the day I die. And the way in which I do that is I take the success of an earlier success with dealing with something that I thought was one of those forever states. And then I cull from it all the ways I began to meet my automatic surviving self behavior with curiosity, deep contemplation, and intention. When we think deeply about the things that we want or the things we want to change, it accesses that part of the brain that brings forth the kind of information and the environment that allows healing to take place. The Little Book of Big Lies is a place where you can find tools and information and permission to be with ourselves in a way that is always moving us to our greater yet to be, because it's always allowing us to grow and to stop judging the fact that we need to grow, because growth is the only way that the universe, that life itself, that the intelligence that has an agenda far beyond where we are can use us to get there. I think it is an incredible opportunity for us to work in concert with life. And in closing, I'll just say, thinking constructively about our lives is indeed the best way to not only change, but live life for the better, day by day by day by day by day. That's it. I thank you all so much for inviting me here to share what I'm sure you already know, but what I am learning is the degree to which we remember is the degree to which we own and the degree to which we expand.
Thank you, Tina, so much. Would you mind taking a few questions?
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Okay, that would be great. That was really wonderful and inspiring. And it so fits in with all of the work we're doing in our groups. It's about the looking and not suppressing, and being aware of what's going on internally, externally, how we react, and being okay with how things are and forming intentions. It's all about intentions and letting go of our old stories and the old ideas that we've dragged through our lives about our successes or our failures, our abilities, and letting go of that and being present to what is going on right now. And I think what you said about what's going on in the world right now, it's coming into us from so many different directions. And I'm certain that what you say is true. When people look back on this time, they will see that it was a time of great opportunity, as all difficult times are. We're going through some very difficult things in the world with the pandemic and with Black Lives Matter and with horrible trials and horrible things going on all over the world, and Myanmar and God knows where. And I think it's the horror before the transition into a new paradigm. And I think by all of what we're all doing, we contribute with our thoughts and our ideas and our energy to this new growth. And thank you for all that you're doing. Anyone have a question for Tina? John, unmute, please. You're muted. Okay.
Thank you, Tina. It's always just so wonderful to hear not only about your journey and the wisdom that you can give to us to help us remember our journey. I wonder, you sort of almost visually depicted breakthrough moments and also described for yourself these sort of breakthroughs of awareness. I wonder if there's any particular practice or way in which you see that accelerating for yourself. And maybe it's a difficult question, but I sense that you're just so able to invite that to yourself. So I wonder if you'd comment on that.
Yeah, absolutely, John. It's a great question. And it really is the essence of the Little Book of Big Lies. And what I know today is literally the moment. And in fact, I can give you an example from just Friday. Okay. I am, I'm an actress and I have a great reputation. A lot of people don't know that in the 5th grade, I had this really debilitating experience with acting. And to the point that, it started to accelerate. And I would get a phone call. This is back in the 90s. And my hands would begin to shake at just the notion of going to that audition. And the amount of effort and mind management that I had to try for and didn't have the tools for at that time just left me like a basket case, seriously. Now, I could muster calm on the outside, but I was in a whirlwind of survival. And so that was the area that I started using as my lab. And here's what I absolutely know today. With that experience, that 5th grade experience, acting was tied to all of the horrible things that happened in that 5th grade experience. So every phone call, every opportunity ignited all of the thoughts of failure that were connected to that 5th grade experience. And I couldn't even see that because inside of me, I was trying, to, show up brilliantly, show up powerfully, but I couldn't see the degree to which I was enrolled in catastrophizing, that I was enrolled in thinking about what's wrong. And literally, when I stumbled onto, because that's how it happened, but it happens because I was constantly asking the universe, okay, there must be a way out of this. That's one thing. Whenever we are challenged, remember we are connected to a very intelligent whole system. And ask and it shall be given. Those aren't just, religious, that's just not religious scripture. That is a working principle in the universe. It's all intelligent and it hears. And so I start with saying, okay, I need help. How do I navigate this? That immediately puts me in the state of mind that I am not alone and that something higher than me, my higher self even knows more about this moment than I do because I'm caught in my surviving self. So the thriving self can actually, this thriving and infinite self can actually sort of hover and begin to work with me so that my brain can come back to a normal state and I can think better. And then I realized, as simple as this, and this happened this Friday, I'm, you know, I walk onto the stage and people really respect me as an actress, and I understand it. I'm a good actress, right? And we had just, there was time crunch, there was all of these things. And there was a need to get this scene done and get it done very quickly. And I had a ton of lines. And my surviving self would have loved to have started the old tapes. But now I don't resist that. I know that that's a tendency. And the only way that tendency can disrupt where I am is if I pay more attention to it than I do remembering who I am and what I want to do and what I'm capable of doing. And so I just take a moment and I get really clear about what I want. And the more I am clear about what I want, literally meaning how I want to move into this space, how I want the words to move through me effortlessly, touched by, you know, a reality that is resonant with the character. Now I'm totally involved in the thriving self realm, where I'm curious, where I'm in vision, where I am passionate. And that energy overrides the surviving self, particularly when you know that it's a lie. Does that answer?
So it's an awareness combined with an intention and the space and the knowledge to know that that old story is a lie. It's not
Absolutely.
true. And once
Absolutely.
you know that, you form the intention to focus on what's your choice and what you want to
That's right.
happen.
That's right. That's right. My little trick is, that's awareness, you know, and then seeing it, acknowledging it,
Yep.
and then having compassion for it and accepting it, and then interrupting it. And with the interruption, having gratitude for the ability to see this and work with myself in such a compassionate and succinct way.
In telling of the story, you actually convey both passion and excitement in diving into that. And I thank you for that. That was a really wonderful example. Thank you so much.
And both of those are thriving self energies that calm and bring balance to the surviving self.
Calm and balance. That's the starting point for the intention, right? That was a
Sharon?
great question, John. Does anybody else have a question?
Yes, hi, this
Yes,
is
Sharon.
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Tina.
Hey, how are you?
My heart is so full right now. Seeing you and just remembering, in the early 2000s, we had so many conversations about this, and just seeing the power that you have brought forward to manifest the book and the career, and you're just like a living embodiment of a level of awareness that is so rare. It's so rare. And, we've all been through an incredible couple of years. And actually, I would say 4 years. And so many of us have been tested on so many levels. I know for myself, that's definitely the case. And I'm just so happy to know that you have done what you've done and you're sharing on this authentic level. It is so encouraging and inspiring. And I really appreciate having this time with you today. I want to find out, number one, what's your website? Where's your book available? And I want to just connect with this and incorporate it into the work that I'm doing, because I feel like there is just so much love and power and peace just emanating from you and available to all of us through
So,
accessing your work. So that's what I wanted to share.
well, I thank you. I thank you for that. And I really want to just add to what you've said, that up until now, it has been challenging in the ways in which it has been challenging. I think that it's really important for us to realize that either everyone is special or no one is special, right? And I am not special. I am practiced. I'm probably one of the most practiced people you will ever run into, because I take all of this so incredibly seriously that I literally do the steps that I have learned to do, and I do them so often that they have become habituated and they are my way of being. But anything that anyone sees in me, and I am told quite often that there's a light around me, but that is the byproduct of being practiced. And anybody, this life is here asking us all to let more of it move through us. And we do that by, taking lead from people who can model it authentically. And if in fact there's something you value in me and how I show up, then I tell you that you will get every tool that you need in the Little Book of Big Lies. And then you can use community and every upset that happens in your life and every dream and desire that you have and every difficulty and challenge to use those tools so that you expand, and more of the balanced life gets to move through you so that life can use you in the way it needs.
That
Lovely.
is powerful. Thank you, darling. And God bless.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank
You, Tina. Do we have any more questions? Okay, then I'm going to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Tina, for that wonderful, inspiring talk. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you, John. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Kath. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. The video will be up on the website in a day or two. We will also post Tina's book and the fitness project and how to get to that website. And
it's the yellow one, not the red and white one.
okay,
it's
the yellow
now.
one. Yellow. Okay, the yellow one. And with that, I will bid you all a lovely spring day. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And we'll see you back here in May. We have an exciting program coming up. Let's see, if there are any other announcements. Our new study group is going to be starting Adyashanti's The Direct Way on the 20th of April. If anyone's interested in joining us, that's on Zoom as well on Tuesdays, 2 to 4. The Northern Baja study group is also Tuesdays at 2:30. And all of that information is available on the tranquilobaja.com website. So we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Tina. Thanks all.
Thanks all.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you,
Everybody.
Tina. It was awesome. Just like you.
She is pretty wonderful.
Very inspiring.
Mhm.
Nadine, thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mary Beth. I'm going to end the meeting.
Okay, hi, Kath. Hi, Kath.
Hi, Kath. Bye, Kath. Goodbye, everybody.